Hi guys, how's it going? My name is Joe Tyrrell and welcome to the Undercut, the GPblog podcast. The year is 2017. Real Madrid became the first team to defend the Champions League. Donald Trump entered his first year as President of the United States. And our very own Nick made a shock move to the UK. We also saw the continuation of a motorsport dynasty as Lewis Hamilton set his sights on Schumacher's record. This is the GPblog Decade Review, Episode 4.
Valtteri, it's James.
That's going to ruin the undercut attempt. The undercut.
Adam, Nick, welcome back. We're nearing the end of our travel through time. We're in 2017 now, and Lewis Hamilton is the top dog again.
Yeah, I'm fresh off the boat in England.
Yeah, Nick.
Did you come
Nick's
on a boat?
No, came on a plane, but
Nick's joined us. And this spell also includes the foundation of GPblog UK, doesn't it?
2017 when we all met?
We all met in
Oh,
2017,
how
didn't we?
Yeah, we all did. Yeah,
We were midway through the season at that point, but Lewis Hamilton was well on his way to another World Championship, wasn't he?
Storming to another World Championship. We were all wondering, can Valtteri Bottas do what Nico Rosberg did and challenge Mr. Hamilton? Can Ferrari be good? Will Vettel challenge? He kind of did for a little while and then faded off.
kind of did for a little while.
He kind of did for a little while, didn't he?
Yeah,
Until Singapore, then it was done.
Well, was he leading after the first set of races until maybe Canada?
he was leading for a while. He won,
Yeah,
I think, 3 of the first 6 races.
Yeah, he won.
And he got second in the other 2. So
Yeah.
at that point,
Yeah, he
it
would have been
genuinely
leading.
looked like our Seb is back. You know,
Yeah.
he went 2016 without winning a race.
Seb.
2014 without winning a race. In 2015, he won just 3. And for the first time since then, he genuinely looked like, he has a good car underneath him. He has some confidence, and he's gonna go at Hamilton. And we looked like we had an epic battle on our hands.
However, the second half of the season, it was pretty emphatic.
Listen, this is normal for us now. That Hamilton just sort of
Turns it on when he needs to.
Yeah, he just turns it on. Just usually, like after the summer, he just goes on an incredible run. This time again, I think he wins 5 races out of 6, and finishes second in the other. He just runs away with it. And Vettel, unfortunately, Vettel, but also Ferrari, unfortunately, just not have that consistency, that reliability.
At the crucial time.
Yeah, at that crucial time. That retirement in Singapore for Vettel after getting pole position, I think,
Yeah.
that was a big blow to his championship aspirations.
Well, 2017 saw, as we hinted in the last episode, the departure of Nico Rosberg, and Mercedes welcomed in a certain Valtteri Bottas, Adam.
Yeah, I was quite excited when Bottas arrived. I thought he might be
Buzzing.
a breath of fresh air into Mercedes.
There was no arguing.
Yeah, they didn't hate each other, or maybe they will do in 10 races time. But Bottas came in and was an exemplary number 2 driver,
the perfect number 2,
Lewis Hamilton, the perfect foil.
He was quite consistent that season.
He was consistent. We
He
also
never
saw
finished-
the first
Yeah,
full
won the Russian
season.
Grand Prix.
The first full season of Ricciardo Verstappen.
Yeah, well, 2017 was a bit of a reality check for Max Verstappen, wasn't it, Nick? He had quite a few retirements in there. He won 2 races at the end of the season.
Sorry, do you mean Max Crashstappen?
Yeah, I think this was when the public started turning on him a bit. 2017. Obviously, in 2016, he had just a couple of outings. He obviously won, and then he had that race in Brazil, in the wet, where he overtook Nico Rosberg around the outside in the wet, and the Brazilian crowd were like hailing him as sort of a new Ayrton Senna. But 2017 is when it's everything starts hitting a fan. But Verstappen also, to be fair to him, Verstappen had extremely bad luck with the engine, and I think he had like 6 retirements in like 8 races or something. It was really like
he had 7 over the course of the entire season.
Yeah, but all of them came like really close after each other, and it was just to absolutely pull
Red
your
Bull
head
weren't
out.
reliable that season in general, because Ricciardo had if I look here, he had 6 as well.
Renault engines.
Yeah, this is basically the foundation of why Red Bull grew so frustrated of Renault as their engine partner, and ultimately led them at the end of 2018 to split from them, because yes, they had won 4 championships together, but in the new era, Renault clearly didn't have the formula that mainly Mercedes had. And Verstappen had a bad season. Ricciardo, to be fair to him, did what he could, racked up a lot of podiums, I remember, and obviously won in Baku. That was a really good race that year.
Was that the race where
he overtook 3 people in one move?
Was it the race where Sebastian Vettel decided to just drive into Hamilton for fun?
Yeah.
Oh, that is one of my favourite moments. He just pulls out alongside him.
Yeah. So behind safety car, Hamilton sort of, to be fair, does sort of brake test Vettel. You can see Vettel putting his hands in the air, and not in a good way, and just pulls alongside Hamilton and just sort of like barges into him as if it's like a video game or something, and that obviously gives Vettel a stop and go penalty. Extremely stupid, costs him the win, or getting second maybe or something. And those are the type of things that really separate Vettel from a title, I think. Just these hot-headed moments. And
was that Williams' most recent podium?
Yep,
it was.
Did we say Bottas was?
No, we said Bottas was the top 6 most recent from a non-top.
And I said that Massa was the last pole sitter.
Yeah, well,
in 2014.
That is a stark contrast to what we're experiencing now, isn't it?
Young star Lance Stroll.
Well, there was a lot of disrespect put on Stroll's name at the start of 2017. Some of it earned, some of it not quite so earned.
None of it was his fault as such, though.
Saying he's just a pay driver, he's never going to amount to anything in F1, which, I mean, is harsh because he's still a young kid. Even still now as a young kid.
Yeah. Was
solid enough in Formula 3, I believe.
Yeah, won a championship in Formula 3.
Yeah, beat Antonio Giovinazzi, I think, who is in F1 now.
Yeah.
And he started the season with a lot of disappointing races, disappointing qualifyings, retirements, the lot, and then arrived to Azerbaijan. Everyone was getting on his back, got a podium, and said, "No, look, I can drive a car. I'm not just some rich kid with a dad who owns a multi-billion-dollar company or whatever it is."
Well,
an F1 team now.
Adam, I've mentioned this man before. You're very fond of him. Is Jenson Button? He obviously retired in 2016. But one of my favourite moments from that side was it when he pushed. Was it Verline up against the wall in Monaco?
It's quite spectacular.
When Fernando Alonso went to IndyCar, Jenson was, I think he was reserve driver that year, 2017.
I don't even know if he was that.
He was affiliated with McLaren still.
Bad year for British drivers besides Hamilton.
Paul di Resta.
Yeah, Paul di Resta came in once.
Oh yeah,
Hungary.
Didn't finish.
Retired.
Jenson Button came in once because Alonso was
Palmer got kicked out before the USA.
Yeah, Palmer obviously.
But it's just that. It's just the way that crash happened in Monaco. It was so slow, and he like scooped him up against when he was just like. Verline was just up against the wall.
To Hulkenberg last year when he said he was hanging like
in
a
Abu
cow.
Dhabi.
Yeah, that was something.
Similar.
But the
with Jenson's appearance, I did love the radio banter between Alonso and Jenson before the race when Button told Alonso who's going to pee in his seat. Classic moment that.
So one of the most dramatic moments of the season happened in Singapore. Nick, that infamous crash right at the start of the race.
Yeah, Raikkonen gets an excellent launch. Verstappen sort of gets caught in between the Ferraris, and they sort of just close the gap on him. Contact Raikkonen and Verstappen are immediately out. Vettel keeps going, but then a corner later he has a puncture, and he is he's facing the wrong way. He
absolutely handed it on a plate to Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, facing the wrong way there, Sebastian Vettel, so that wasn't helping.
And a certain Fernando Alonso was cost a chance at a podium finish. I think he would have run through into P2 if he'd avoided Max Verstappen.
Yeah, well, that was a bit of a weird one. And another stat I think that is relevant for 2017 is that it's by far the season with the least amount of overtakes since the introduction of DRS. So since the introduction of DRS, as I mentioned on a previous podcast, overtaking has almost doubled, but in this season it almost halved from the season before, because in 2017 the regulations changed, the cars became way wider, way more downforce, and we created this problem that we still have where following in corners is extremely difficult, so the overtaking just plummeted. Yeah, and that was probably why 2017 was not a very good year overall.
The least memorable year of the decade? Or would you say 2013 beats it to it?
Yeah, I reckon
2013 beats it.
for me, probably 2017 maybe. I mean, apart from obviously Verstappen winning 2 races.
I think personally, just the images of the Vettel pulling alongside Hamilton in Azerbaijan, moments like that, and then there was the big Singapore crash. I just think it stands out slightly more than 2013.
Bomb 3, I'd say.
It wasn't great though in terms of drama. So we'll move on to 2018 now, but it was a very familiar sight as Lewis Hamilton ran away with it, 408 points to Sebastian Vettel's 320. But at the start of the season, it was pretty similar to the year before, with Vettel leading the opening stages.
Yeah, Vettel won the first 2 races, did very well, led the championship until the Belgian Grand Prix, and then he did.
Did he?
Yeah, because he won that one, and
he retook it.
Yeah, he retook it, and then afterwards, people, because after that it was the Italian Grand Prix. Monza, power heavy circuit. Ferrari going to take this, took a 1-2, and then Vettel barged into Hamilton on the first lap. Raikkonen was hung out to dry, really, just got picked off by Hamilton. And yeah, Mercedes won in Ferrari's backyard, and that was, I think, a massive psychological blow to Ferrari. And ultimately, Hamilton does what Hamilton does, and just keeps going at it, keeps winning, keeps doing everything, and wins it. And unlike Bottas, who won 0 races that year.
Yeah, well, I was going to mention Bottas because Bottas, his best result that season was a win from pole in Russia.
In 2018?
Second from pole.
Yeah,
P2 in pole.
He won it, but obviously because of the team order,
it's James.
That was vintage Valtteri is James.
And obviously you had the puncture in Azerbaijan.
He had the puncture in Azerbaijan in the final few laps that cost him the win.
Yeah. It was a tough year, but we've seen him come back from it.
Yeah, we saw the Bottas 2.0 thing, obviously, at the start of 2019. Grew a beard, ate porridge, and came back.
Makes all the difference. If you want to be better at your job, just grow a beard and eat some porridge.
Yeah.
I guarantee you'll be better.
Yeah.
That year also saw Daniel Ricciardo kind of fall off a cliff a little bit.
Yeah, it was evident from
2017. Ricciardo was better than Verstappen, and obviously Verstappen had a lot of engine issues, which really got into his head as well. He started overdriving the car, all those things. But in 2018, Verstappen was just obviously the better driver.
Should have had 3 race wins Verstappen as well.
Yeah,
obviously the famous incident in Brazil.
Brazil one with Ocon.
And Verstappen probably could have won Monaco. That was Daniel Ricciardo's
that was a defining moment for his career. Verstappen had a difficult start to the year, had a lot of criticism coming past him because he spun pretty much every race weekend, whether he crashed in qualifying, whether he spun around in Australia during the race. Had everyone just
on his back.
Yeah, dousing him with criticism.
Max Verstappen.
Yeah, and then it really culminated in Monaco. Red Bull bang on the favorites. It wasn't even close in terms of pace, and then Max in FP3, because Ricciardo was leading him by 1/1000th of a second in the timings, went for it in the final minutes, misjudged the curb, banged it into the wall, couldn't
Swimming
qualify.
pool section, right?
Yeah. Banged it into the wall, couldn't qualify, started from last, and just threw away
finished ninth in the end, but it could have been so much more.
And Ricciardo finished, obviously won the race.
And that Ricciardo podium, the win, is his most recent podium in F1. Still one of the craziest stats that he didn't finish second or third in a single race in 2018.
He only won twice, and he didn't finish on the podium a single time. And Max horribly outqualified him that year as well. It was 17-4 or something. It was not even close.
And that was the beginning of Ricciardo's move to Renault, which we all know hasn't been.
It's been far from plain sailing,
so far, has it? Paved the way for the whole Gasly Albon drama we've had recently, which has been one of the highlights of last season for me.
Well, 2019 now, we'll come on to it. The season just gone. Wholesale changes off the track with so many driver changes. We saw the 3 rookies come in from Formula 2. We had Gasly going to
Red Bull.
Gasly went to Red Bull. You had Brendan Hartley on his way out. You had Sainz go to McLaren. You had Sorokin left. You had Kubica come back.
Yeah.
I think you might be missing a certain Charles Leclerc to Ferrari.
Charles Leclerc went to Ferrari. Raikkonen went to Sauber.
Giovinazzi came in.
Giovinazzi mentioned that.
Stroll went to Racing Point. Ocon left.
Nowhere.
Ocon missed a chance.
Yeah.
And Grosjean stayed at Haas.
And so there was Grosjean somehow
Most
stayed at Haas.
incredibly out of all of them,
Yeah.
Grosjean retained his seat somehow.
So we had lots of changes, and it was a
Crazy.
lot of.
Crazy
lot of-
off season. Good season, I'd say.
I think we've all enjoyed it.
I'd say it was a good season.
Yeah.
Lots of good races, a few bad races, a few great races.
Yeah.
I think
It's
what we've not
funny.
seen enough of is if we'd seen more. I think this season might have been rated high. If we'd seen more of the midfield battle, we've just not seen enough of it.
You mean in terms of on the TV?
The TV
Yeah.
directors.
Yeah, that's true. No, it's funny that after the first 8 races, something like that, or 7 races, actually, no, I'm thinking back to it. So, like, up until, like, France, obviously France is, like, one of the most tedious races.
Snooze fest.
A lot of criticism about it being boring. And then Austria comes around. Verstappen has that incredible drive. Laps Gasly, by the way.
Pips Leclerc to the win.
Yeah. And then Germany comes around, and then Hungary comes around, and then Silverstone comes around, and we have like all these incredible
We had some real
races.
drama, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then we had the scenes in Monza.
Yeah, Monza, Japan, like we had a lot of when you
Brazil.
start counting like the good races. We had a lot of
Although we had a lot of bad
races
ones,
this
we had a
year.
lot of really good ones.
Yeah,
I think we had more good than we had bad
Yeah.
this season. I think we've
And I think the
the
bad
bad
ones,
quite lucky.
The bad ones are just because they're bad tracks. You know,
Yeah.
Australia,
Yeah.
the Albert Park is just not.
But
a good
even then,
racing
we got a
track.
bit of a surprise because we sort of thought Hamilton's going to dominate, and Bottas sort of came out firing.
Yeah, that was
turn
cool.
turn 1, wasn't it? Took
Yeah.
the lead.
But-
Kept
There was a
Bottas
story.
was
There was a
just-
story at every race,
just-
sort of thing.
Went out of sight. It was like a Hamilton-esque performance from Bottas, and everyone was like, "Wow, where did this come from?" You know, especially after 2018, and he was such a such a B driver, such a beta male, like
Beta male. Sorry, Valtteri.
no. And then he came out in 2019. It was just like, here you are. He obviously went on the radio
Yeah.
and said "F you" to everyone concerned. And then he won again in Bahrain. Or no, he didn't. He won the
came
third
second.
race.
He won the 4th race in
He won
Azerbaijan.
Azerbaijan.
Yeah,
He was
did.
pole a
Yeah,
couple
that
times.
was it.
1-2-2-1-2.
Obviously fell off after that, but all around his best year.
But it was nice to see him get the 2 wins at the end of the season to
What
make
did you
his
have for
best year.
breakfast this morning, Valtteri?
Porridge.
Porridge, actually.
Porridge, yeah, just a sign as of 5 seconds.
Yeah,
But 2019, I think of the 3 seasons we've had here, arguably the best season. out of the
I'd
lot
say
of them.
definitely the best season
Yeah.
for me.
Again,
I enjoyed
looking
it
at-
the most.
Again, looking at the overtaking stats, over 100 more than in 2018, over 300 more than in 2017. So yeah, I mean, yeah, as we said, the midfield was really cool.
it was a really close battle because you had McLaren obviously proved themselves
and we
to
had
be
the
ahead
sort
for,
of
but Toro Rosso surprised everyone.
yeah, 2 podiums for Toro Rosso. We've seen that one coming, and obviously the whole Gasly
Gasly, we got to mention that.
storyline. Gasly's storyline, it was incredible.
What do you reckon to that now, having seen Red Bull sign Albon for 2020? I kind of think, looking at the stats, I feel like it's
Gasly's a bit hard
probably
done
the
by.
right decision, but Gasly is a bit hard done by because
Yeah,
Gasly has been better at Toro Rosso than Albon was at Toro Rosso.
I think you got to bear in mind that Gasly's podium, although he completely deserved it, right place, right time, Albon would have got that podium.
Yeah, but Gasly had more consistent points anyway, just if we disregard the Brazilian race.
I think it was just too soon for, like, credit to Albon for adjusting to Red Bull the way he did. But I do think Gasly is the better driver, but it was just too much too soon for him, I think.
I
And
think what Red
if
Bull were
that-
impressed by was
yeah, I think
Albon's ability to recover in races.
yeah, and I think Albon's second half of the season is a bit overrated, to be honest. But
So do I.
We were still waiting for him to get that
Yeah,
podium.
listen, I think if that seat is available in 2021 and they have to pick again between Albon and Gasly,
Well, they might have to fill 2 seats in it if
I think-
Max doesn't sign a new contract.
I think that's an entirely different topic. But
Yeah.
I think if that seat is available in 2021, say everything stays the same, and I have to pick between Albon and Gasly again, I think I might go for Gasly, give him a second chance.
Yeah, I agree. Unless they decide to pick Dan Ticktum.
Right, guys, we've reached the end of the 2010s. We're in 2019. We started off 9 years ago with Sebastian Vettel's title victory, and we've now rounded off with Lewis Hamilton's. Guys, I want you to pick out your top 3 moments from this entire decade of Formula One. Nick, I'll come to you first.
This is going to be unbelievably biased.
That's all right, so's mine.
Number 3 is going to be this year, Verstappen's win in Austria, the way he came back, he dropped down the grid, had a horrible start, dropped to 9th, I think, from 2nd. And the way he came back, picking I think he overtook Hamilton via undercut, but the rest just picking driver off.
He just soared through one after another.
So
Bottas, Vettel, Leclerc, one
so
after
that's
them
my
all.
number 3, and it's obviously Honda's first win in 13 years. Number 2, Verstappen, 2016 in Brazil. Almost binned it. Miraculous recover. He was aquaplaning into the barrier on the straight. Somehow, I still don't know how he did it. I've seen that video 500,000 times. I still don't know how he got that out. Then gets shafted by Red Bull with the pit stop because they put him on inters and then pits him the next lap again to put him back on. So he drops down like 15 positions. I think he overtakes 13 cars in like 13 laps or even less to get a podium. And obviously within all of that, he overtook Rosberg, who obviously had the way better car around the outside. And obviously all the commentators just going nuts. And that was so good. But obviously number 1 is Verstappen's win in Spain.
God, I didn't see that one coming, Nick.
Oh my
I
God.
was crying.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, I was crying. I'll admit it.
And Adam, you're also very biased. Which ones? What are your top 3
I'm
moments of
going
the
to be
decade?
slightly less biased than Nick. I feel number 3 is going to be quite a recent moment. Is seeing the delight on Pierre Gasly's face getting on the podium in Brazil.
Oh, he couldn't handle himself.
That was a magical moment for me after the year he had. Number 2 for me is going to be just the 2012 Brazilian Grand Prix. Just Vettel going backwards at the 4th corner, getting his way through. Hulkenberg's could have won. Hamilton's last race for McLaren, and of course Jenson winning. That was a great moment. But number 1, as I mentioned in the previous podcast,
2011.
No. Being at Spa-Francorchamps 2015, seeing Roman Grosjean come through for a podium.
That is your favourite moment of the decade.
I as soon as Roman came into Formula 1, I took an instant liking to him. I just liked his name or something. 14-year-old me was like, yeah, I really like this guy. And I've been his biggest fan since then. Just my Grosjean hat on,
Roman Grosjean.
talking to some Dutch Max Verstappen fans next to me. Roman comes through for P3. I was so happy.
I gotta say, this top 3, as Adam said, is not very biased.
No, not very biased.
Well, the top 1 is.
Well, lads, that is the end of the decade. Thank you for joining me on our travel through time. Make sure you check out all the content on GPblog.com. Keep up with all the news from the world of motorsport. And have a very, very happy new year, guys. Thank you for joining me.
Merry Christmas first.
See you in the 2020s.
Well, I don't know when this one's going out, so... If it's before Christmas, have a happy Christmas and a happy new year. If it's just after Christmas, have a happy new year.
Goodbye.